In this video, we're going to be going over how we can replace a broken valve on a manifold for an in-ground pool. Looking at the manifold, we can see on the right side that the valve is broken. The first thing you need to figure out is where you're going to cut this pipe at. You obviously will be cutting above and below the broken valve, but when making the cut, you need to make sure that there's at least 3.5 inches of pipe exposed so we can couple or elbow onto it. So right here you can see that I cut above the valve and I went down underneath. I had to dig out a little bit of earth and I cut below the valve. So this is what you should have left. If the pipe has a bunch of dirt on it, you need to wipe it off. We use a napkin in this case, but if you have a rag or towel, that'll do much better of a job. Start off by priming both ends that you'll be making a connection on, and then gluing them and putting the fitting onto the pipe and giving it a little bit of a spin and holding firmly until it dries. When the connection has been completed, it is permanent, so be ready to cut things off if it's not right the first time. Now that both couplers are on, I'm going to put a 4-inch piece of pipe inside that top coupler so I can put an elbow coming straight down into the pipe below. Doing the same process as I did up top, I'm primer and gluing this coupler fitting and putting another 4-inch piece in this bottom pipe, and you can kind of see it coming together right here. The valve will go in the middle and an elbow right above it. I am now getting this piece of pipe primer and glued up to set the valve on. When plumbing in a new valve, I like to get valves with at least one union on them. The reason for this is because there's a little bit room for error. If one pipe isn't lined up perfectly, you can actually spin the valve inside the union to line up where you wanted it. This is almost the final piece of the puzzle, just setting in this little piece of pipe right here, and the last thing that we'll need to do is add an elbow to complete the whole new system. The final step would be loosening this valve union, taking the valve off. I'm going to primer and glue the piece of pipe coming out of the valve, and also primer and glue the piece of pipe coming out from the pump. This will all be going together in one motion, so you need to work extremely quickly. I'm going to make the connection right here, and you'll see I'll line everything up perfectly how it should, and my coworker will also tighten the union nut simultaneously to make sure everything is exactly straight how it should be right before the glue dries all the way. This part is a little bit stressful, but with some precise movements, you'll have no problem doing this. Once everything looks to be in place and correct, we're going to go ahead and fill in the hole where we dug up and make everything look like we never were here. Just one little tip is to grab a pair of channel locks and tighten that union nut up on the valve just a little bit, just to make sure the person will get a good prime on their pump when it's time to open or rerun the pool.